Hi, my name is Liz Holtz, and I'll be your host today on In Our Community. And today, I'm proud to have our special guest from Good Karma Bikes back on the show to tell us some more about their programs. Our guests today are Jim Gardner, who is the founder and CEO of Good Karma Bikes, which was just recently voted the best bicycle store in San Jose by the San Jose Metro. And with him today is Colin Bruce, who is the engagement officer for Good Karma Bikes. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Liz.
Thank you.
Always happy to have you guys here.
It's great to be here.
First of all, Colin, I'm a little curious. So what is an engagement officer? What is it that you do in this position at Good Karma Bikes?
Well, I'm lucky enough to handle and work with pretty much everybody in Good Karma. I look after the volunteers, which we've got over 2,200. I work with over 40 different corporations that bring events and have interaction with us. And also I work with about 75 other partner organizations like Sacred Heart Community Services, First Family, and some state and local government works like GA Works program and things like that.
Wow, sounds like it keeps you very busy.
Just a little bit.
And Jim, you were last on the show last year in 2016. So can you give us an idea of some of the things that have happened over at Good Karma Bikes since then?
Well, thanks, Liz. Yeah, as you know, we were voted Best Bike Shop in Silicon Valley by readers of the Metro. We're very proud of that. As you know, we work with former foster youth. And so the reason I love that is that I can tell them that hard work does pay off. We were voted best. We served 3,000 people in 2016. We supported our clientele with saving them $1 million in bus fare.
Wow.
We gave away a bike every other day. And all of our former foster youth are full-time students now.
That's amazing. That is really, really a significant accomplishment.
Thank you.
And I know how passionate you are about the work that you do, which I just love. So can you let us know, one of the programs that you do is, as you said, the College Outreach and Opportunities Program, or co-op.
Correct.
Which is the program that you do with the foster youth, right?
Right.
So can you tell us, more about what's going on with that program?
Sure. Foster youth, half of them are homeless by age 25. 70% of our state inmates were wards of the court. This is a needless human tragedy.
Absolutely.
We believe we prevent this by changing their minds and their hearts with college education, work experience, and community service. Our nonprofit retail bike shop provides the community service and the work experience. Our program staff enable college and empower them in college.
That's fabulous. And I know last time you were on the show, we talked about some statistics with that, and they were simply amazing. I mean, it was almost like a complete 180.
It's a complete 180 once they complete 30 units, approximately an AA degree. They never become homeless, they never join order of magnitude shifts in these statistics from just education, work experience, and we add in community service.
Yeah, and I think it's just, the work you guys do is so important in the community.
Thank you.
It really is.
Working with these young people is a privilege and an opportunity.
I love that. So, one of the other things, Jim, is I understand you're also expanding some of your programs.
Right now, we are in the planning stages of scaling our former foster youth program to serve 100 program youth. We're also expanding our community outreach from 3,000 people in need to 5,000 people in need on an annual basis. And we'd like to be giving away a bike every day.
Wow. That's some pretty lofty goals. And you know what? With your determination and your charm, I'm sure you're going to make it happen.
Thank you, Liz, and your support as well.
So now, Colin, with this growth, I mean, how does that affect the programs at Good Karma? And I would imagine that requires a need of more influx of volunteers, other groups participating. How does that affect you?
Keeps me even busier than I was before we started the expansion plans. But we're having to look at how we do everything a little bit differently. With the volunteers, for example, whilst we have a wonderful core of about 100 people that put in a lot of hours for us, we need a constant support and education going through. So we've introduced new programs for the volunteers to try and give them more education, to try and make them even more capable of supporting us and giving us the extra help that we need. We've also introduced programs around trying to introduce youth programs in for high school kids, to bring those in and and get them more involved in what's going on. We're starting to expand our mobile clinics from just serving Saturdays at Sacred Heart to looking at other groups and trying to expand to 2 and 3 days a week.
Wow.
So there's a continuous growth of all the different programs that we do.
Well, and I know your bicycle clinic, basically serves, the homeless, the non-prop,
Yeah.
the low-income folks in the community. They can come to those clinics over at Sacred Heart, and you hold them, I believe, every Saturday. And they just show up and they can get their bicycles repaired.
Absolutely.
And stuff, which is such an amazing thing, especially for people that are in a situation where the bicycle is their sole means of transportation.
Yep.
And as we know in this valley, transportation is everything.
In just the city of San Jose, there are 97,000 people below federal poverty line. They can't afford transportation. As I said, we've saved them $1 million in bus fare last year. Buy or donate a bike with us goes to support the community and a lot of our program overhead.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that you, not only you take, bikes in, refurbish them, you take that as an opportunity to work with the community,
Yes.
to get them involved. And of course, every year the work that you do at Christmas with Sacred Heart is just amazing. Last year you donated how many bikes? It was
577.
Which is just a tremendous figure. And that all goes to, kids that would otherwise not get a bicycle for Christmas. And isn't that like the dream of every child, to have a brand new bicycle?
It was my dream.
And so, I think we've all been there. And that's such a special thing that you do.
Thank you.
You guys do so many things that are just amazing. Colin, we started talking about a little bit about the youth programs, and I
Sure.
want to find out more about that because you've added some new things that you're doing. So can you kind of give us an overview of the youth programs that you have in place at Good Karma Bikes right now?
Sure. I've always been interested in working with young kids. It's, ever since, I grew up enough to be able to help and stuff. I worked at youth clubs and things like that. So it was important to me when I came to Good Karma to start to involve youth a lot stronger and have some specific programs. So we've started on a Wednesday night, high school night. So from 4 till 7 o'clock, high school kids can come in. They get classes on how to work on bikes. And we're starting to work with some of the schools that to help then build for seniors some different skills and capabilities to put onto their college transcripts. So we're getting very active with the different schools, starting to work and expand what we do. And then on the more casual side, we've got other programs where families can come in for birthday parties and things like that. So instead of going off and having pizza, you can come and work on bikes and do things like that. So we're trying to grow and add more and more capabilities, not just for the adults that are helping us day to day, but also for the youth and the kids as well.
Well, so now you mentioned your high school nights program and stuff, and that's for kids that are in high school.
Yeah.
And stuff. So is it only seniors and juniors, or is it open to any kids that are in high school?
And any high school kids.
Any high school age kids. And I understand you've also been getting a lot of press about that lately.
Yeah, we were real lucky. On the very first night, we had about 6 or 7 kids came in, and a journalist and a photographer came in. We managed to get press in, I think it was 6 or 7 different local print press, and 2 or 3 websites picked it up as well. So that has just done a great publicity for us and managed to keep the program growing.
And so how many high schools do you currently have participating in this program?
We currently work with about 17 different high schools all around the community, all around us.
So that's quite a few.
Yeah.
And what are the benefits for the kids that come from the high schools to these programs?
So there's a lot of different benefits. There's just the basic fact that they can now work on their own bikes and work on their friends' bikes. In fact, a lot of them are coming back and saying, how do I work on my dad's bike? Because they want help as well. So, you know, we pull out a bike that's more adult
more
kind
like
of thing.
bike.
Yeah, more like dad's bike, and we start to work on things like that. But on top of that, there's different kids starting to grow and learn, and they're starting to become mentors to the kids, the new kids that come in. So we're seeing just a great growth in what they're able to do, how they're approaching what's happening. There's some science built into it when you start talking about gears and things like that, and the difference between metric and English-sized spanners and wrenches and all that stuff. It just gets them a lot more interested in working with their hands, not just sitting on there using their thumbs on a computer or their cell phone.
Well, and I think it's wonderful that you do give them, you know, something that they can get out and do that does not involve their cell phone or a computer.
There's growing scientific research, psychological research, that volunteering is great for the self-esteem. It improves self-esteem and confidence. And this is the young people that Colin's working with are not from the higher socioeconomic classes. And so for them to experience community service and to rehabilitate bicycles for others in need, it's a tremendous boost for their self-esteem.
I agree. I think it's a wonderful thing. You know, the other thing that we see in the younger generations now is that they want to participate in causes.
Yes.
They want to be associated with a cause. And Good Karma Bikes gives them a cause that they can deal with locally in their own little economic, you know, or social, you know, world. And so what a beautiful idea. So Jim, I have a question for you.
Okay.
I understand with the high school nights program and stuff, you're looking at doing some other things. And what if other high schools want to get involved? You're looking at doing some like curriculum development. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Certainly. So we are working with more and more high schools. Roughly about a third of our service is with young people in high schools. We have a Part Tool school training that they can take. They can go out and hang out their shingle, so to speak. We are also expanding this into be able to touch more at-risk youth and mix that in with the corporate team building events that we do.
That is very neat. Very, very cool. So, Colin, one of the other things that you mentioned was that, you know, you have a summer school program.
Yep.
And stuff, and I believe it's called Sam's Summer Camp.
Yes.
And I was wondering, can you tell us a little bit about what that's all about and how that came into be?
Well, when I started with Good Karma last July, and so summer school was just finishing, and I ended up having about 6 or 7 high school kids that came in almost every day and working. One was Sam. And Sam just got kind of brought into the family of Good Karma and was there every day. His now whole family is involved. His mother does a lot of marketing work for us. His father's helping me in other areas and stuff, get to know various different companies. But Sam was there the whole summer. He continued to come on afterwards, and during the year we were trying to work out, and as I said, I had 6 or 7 kids, and I thought, well, being a non-profit, we do have to make money at some level, so I thought, how can I do this and productize this to get more kids involved? So I asked his mother if I could use Sam's name, so we came up with Sam's Summer Camp. So this year we're going to have 2 2-week camps, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 9 till 4, and we'll have 10 kids in each camp, and Sam and 2 other students that have been coming to our high school nights are going to be the main counselors. I'm going to overview it and things, and every day we'll start off with a ride. Then we'll come back, and Sam and the other counselors will actually give classes to the campers, and then we'll have lunch, and then after lunch we'll start working on the bikes. They can also work for a bike during that time, so at the end of the camp they'll actually go away with a bike. We were very lucky that KLA 10 Corps gave us 6 scholarships for this year's camps.
Oh, that's wonderful.
They were really generous, and so we've gone to Starbird Youth Authority, Youth Club, and they've got 6 kids that are foster kids coming in as part of what the camp will be.
Oh, so that'll be fabulous. And the other nice thing is that then these kids that, come from other underprivileged backgrounds will also be able to mix with kids that are more fortunate,
Right.
Which is always a fabulous thing because
Right.
I believe, getting people from disparate backgrounds together helps each of us and all of
Right.
us learn
Yeah.
from the experience and stuff. And the fact that they'll be able to do this and then leave at the end of the program with their own bikes is really a tremendous thing. So, Colin, what other, you mentioned that there's some other programs. I know you mentioned birthday parties, and I also believe you have a bike safety course that's available for youth. Can you tell us about those?
So the birthday party came about almost by accident. Over the Christmas holidays this year, I had a family call up asking could they come in because they wanted to do something different and stuff like that, and found out that one of the kids, it was their birthday. So jokingly I said, well, instead of going for pizza and stuff, come here and we'll have a birthday party. So 12 or 14 kids with the parents came in, and we taught them the ABCs of bike safety. We taught the kids how to change inner tubes, how to fix their brakes, how to maintain, clean and lubricate the chain, and just basically look after their bikes. They had a blast. I was actually kind of surprised that it went down so well. The mother that organized it all told several of their friends. We've actually had 3 or 4 of these now, and so that's another thing that we're starting to do and make available for people. We've also been working with Silicon Valley Bike Coalition. So at times, for example, with the summer camps, on the second day of the summer camp, they're going to come in and do a bike safety training with the classes. So we're starting to work with them and bring their skills around bike safety to other different different groups that we work with over the time.
Well, and bicycle safety is a very important thing. A lot of people think that helmets are only for kids. Not true. We all need to wear helmets when we're bicycling. And the other thing is, even though there are bike lanes set aside in many areas of the city, just like driving on the freeway, you have to watch out for cars and other vehicles and people walking because, as we know, there are a lot of distractions in our modern world. And it's not unusual for people to be on their phones or be doing something even when they're walking and walk out in the street.
Yeah.
And stuff. So, it's very important to be conscious of those potential obstacles, if we shall say.
One more program I'd like to pitch that you may be interested in. We have started Women's Night. It's an open shop night, and it's bike mechanics for women by women. We have 2 women certified by United Bicycle Institute on our staff.
Very
teaching
cool.
bike mechanics for women. And it's an open night, it's free, it's safe, and they will answer any question.
So it's like a girls' night with bicycle mechanics.
I noticed an empty bottle of wine in the trash the next morning.
Yeah, that's the kind of girls' club I'd be in. Girls like to have their wine when they're working on things, but I think that's a fabulous thing. As a woman who owns power tools and knows how to use them. So I've always, my mother laughs, it's like something is broken, I'm the mechanically inclined one, here, fix it. And stuff. So I think that's a wonderful thing, especially to encourage women and even, younger girls and things like that to become, more self-sustaining, if you will, be able to fix their own tires, fix their own flats, tune up their bikes. I think that's a wonderful thing. So you have other programs for adults as well.
As I mentioned, the Park Tool School, we have our free Saturday clinic. Rain or shine, each and every Saturday, no questions asked. We make free bike repairs. Our nonprofit retail bike shop converts bicycles destined for landfill into safe, reliable transportation for those in need. So buying a bike from us helps to fund 2 free bicycles into the community.
Yeah, I think that's fabulous. And, people may think, oh, well, you're a nonprofit. How many bikes can you have? You have a plethora of bikes at your store. Oodles and oodles. It's amazing. Every time I go over, it's like, wow, you guys are going to have to keep adding more space because you have so many bikes in the store. And it's wonderful because you have a variety of types of bikes. as well as a variety of styles and sizes.
Correct.
You know, so and I've heard people say they've gotten their bikes over at Good Karma. They felt great because they got a great price on the bike, and at the same time they were able to do something that was supporting all the good work that you do in the community.
Right.
And so that is important. Now, you also do things like you have bike builds, like during Christmas, and bicycle drives.
Yes.
And so how do those work?
So we participate with Sacred Heart, who is the host of our Saturday clinic. But at the holidays, we support their toy box program. So we get bicycles, brand new bicycles donated, or we buy them wholesale to support the program. We engage the corporations in the Silicon Valley to help us safety check these bicycles one last time before the young people get their bicycles. Tremendous thing for people who are families who are low income and wouldn't have had any presents at the holiday season.
Well, and kind of, a fun and different way, for corporate groups to come out and participate in something, other than the normal type of corporate retreat, right? And stuff.
Right.
And then you also have team treasure hunts. Now, what's that about?
Well, part of it has to do with corporate team building in our shop, and so we teach bike mechanics and they rehabilitate bicycles for people in need. But what's the fun part about this is about 100 feet away under the same roof is a microbrewery. Oh. Where our new location is, and so that really lubricates team building.
So they can go down to one end of the building,
right?
Shall we say, get inspired, and then come back and work on the bikes for a little bit, and then if they need a little break, they can traipse down to the other side as well.
Hoppus Microbrewery is our new neighbor.
Yes, and I've met the boys over at Hoppus, and fantastic thing. And
great guys.
Although I'm not a beer drinker, I have heard stellar things about their beers. So then, one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is an update on what's going on with the homeless programs. So we talked about the fact that you have the clinics going on over at Sacred Heart.
Correct.
And stuff. And I know you partner with some other organizations in the community. So you do the free bicycle repairs. What other programs do you have in place to help homeless or low-income people with their bikes?
So what we're doing is we're expanding our touch of 3,000 people each year into 5,000 people. We're expanding that by having new locations and new partners. So as Colin mentioned, we were working with Dignity on Wheels. We're working with Life Moves Opportunity Center. And so new locations and new partners will help us expand this program.
That'll be fantastic. Yeah. And Life Moves, many people may not know, used to be the Envision program, and they changed their name, which I think more accurately reflects the work that they do in the community.
Right.
And they are a fabulous organization with many, many different things. See, now, one of the quick things I want to talk about is your art show program and stuff, because I've seen some of these extremely moving images on Facebook. And wanted to find out a little bit more about that.
Well, that came out of a program I did last year for Giving Tuesday. Jim had been using a piece of artwork that we had with a lady on a bypass holding a sign, "All I did was turn 18." We'd been using that quite a bit, so I found another piece of artwork with a silhouette of a young girl in a concrete tube, and you could see through the tube, and you saw a tree outside, and I saw it, and I saw light at the end of the tunnel, silhouette of "Nobody Knows Who I Am" and things like that. And we got a great response on Giving Tuesday and had a lot of good donations. So as I looked at what I could do for 2017, I thought I'd take that same concept of black and white photography, and happened through one of our people in the office, met a gentleman called Jim Watkins. Jim is a great street photographer, works all the way up and down the peninsula. And I spoke to him, and he volunteered his time and his energy, and he helped us take 24 black and white photographs that I'm using in this artwork. that was really cool, and the work we got out of that was really nice. But the 3 people we worked with from another organization, they actually got so involved and actually took over the whole production. It was just unbelievable. These 3 kids that we worked with started to show us, here's the kind of places we live in, sleep in. Here's the, and they kind of showed their moods and whatever. I happened to have took my camera along to take pictures of what we were doing at the time. And they saw me taking pictures, and one of the girls there had a camera, but she didn't have an SD card. So I said, here, use my camera. So then they started fighting over using my camera. Not fighting, but asking me to use it.
My turn, yeah.
Yeah, my turn. The photographs they took, the poses that they created, actually competed with some of the work Jim did, and Jim was just blown away with what it is. So what we've decided to do in September is we're going to take Jim's 24 photographs, blow them up to museum quality, and in the Art Mercantile, where our building shop is, we're going to have an art show in September, and we're going to sell off these photographs that Jim took to different corporations and donors. But we're also going to take some of the pictures that the kids took and try and sell those at a premium to help for our annual big donation drive. I think when people come and see these photographs, see the heart and the soul that these kids put into these photographs and what they helped us do, they'll just be blown away and really be excited by the work.
I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, I've seen some of the photos that you've posted up, and they really are heart-wrenching and stuff. So I think that's going to be wonderful. So we need to get closing up. So Jim, do you have any last comments?
Well, Good Karma Bikes, our nonprofit social enterprise retail bike shop, supports thousands of people every year in former foster youth. So buying or donating a bike goes into our programs.
I love Good Karma. I highly encourage anybody who watches our shows to please help support this fabulous organization. They are simply wonderful. And Colin, can you tell us, if people wanted to get a hold of Good Karma, what's the best way for them to do that?
Sure. The simplest way to remember is volunteer@goodkarmabikes.org. But if you want a message for Jim, it's jim@goodkarmabikes.org, or for myself, Colin with 2 L's at goodkarmabikes.org. So just get in touch and we'll respond and tell you how you can help us.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we have to pretend like we're talking like that.
Good job. Good job, Liz. Thank you very much.
Is this where we tell the jokes and all burst out laughing?
Yes.